The Chicago Bears might be sitting on the most dangerous offensive duo in the entire NFC. Two second-year weapons who, together, could completely break defenses. And if you think last season was impressive, you have absolutely no idea what is coming. But here is the terrifying question nobody is asking: is the pass rush good enough to protect all of that offensive brilliance? Because if it is not, none of it matters. If this kind of Bears content fires you up the same way it fires me up, smash that like button, share this with every Bears fan you know, and subscribe so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Let us start with the biggest defensive debate of the offseason. Colston Loveland versus Luther Burden III. Which second-year weapon takes the bigger leap in year 2? Here is the honest answer. Both of these guys are on a collision course with greatness, and picking just one almost feels wrong. But let us break it down properly. Loveland, by the back half of his rookie season, was already performing like one of the premier receiving tight ends in the entire league. Think about that. A rookie, playing like an elite tight end in the second half of an NFL season. The ceiling on this guy is genuinely scary. Teams are going to have to start dedicating their best corner or safety specifically to slow him down. And the moment that happens, it creates a chain reaction. Every single defender they throw at Loveland is a defender who is not covering Luther Burden or Rome Odunze. That is not a coincidence. That is a system working exactly as designed. Now Luther Burden. His yards per route run as a rookie put him alongside, and in some cases above, some of the best receivers in the NFL at that same stage of their careers. He topped all of them. He is electric with the ball in his hands. He is a separator as a route runner. And in terms of raw developmental ceiling, Burden may actually have the furthest to travel before he hits his peak. The best version of Luther Burden III that we are going to see in this league has not shown up yet. That is both terrifying and electrifying at the same time. Here is the bold prediction that is being thrown around, and honestly, it is not as crazy as it sounds. There is a genuine world where Loveland, Burden, and Rome Odunze all crack 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. 3,000-yard receivers on one roster. It is rare. It is historically rare. But the talent is sitting right there. Question of the day. Drop it in the comments below. Who do you think has the bigger year in 2025? Type CL for Colston Loveland, or type LB for Luther Burden. I want to see where Bears fans actually stand on this. Now let us flip to the other side of the ball, because this is where things get genuinely frustrating. The pass rush. Still the biggest problem on this football team. Someone asked a great question. Which edge rusher could the Bears realistically trade for without blowing up the salary cap? And two names keep rising to the surface. Josh Sweat and Kayvon Thibodeau. Sweat carries a cap number right around $10 to $11 million. That is not breaking the bank for an edge rusher who has proven he can get after the quarterback. Thibodeau is in the neighborhood of $14 million with his fifth-year option, and there are rumblings that he is responding well to the new coaching staff in New York, which may mean the Giants hold on to him at least to open the season. So realistically, Sweat feels like the more obtainable name right now. But here is the bigger picture question. Why did the front office seemingly look past edge rusher almost entirely in the offseason? And the answer, if you are being honest, is partly roster construction reality. They used a second-round pick on Shamar Turner last year. They signed Deo Odeyingbo. They already have Montez Sweat and Austin Booker. They have Daniel Hardy in the mix. That is already a rotation. Most teams carry 4 edge rushers on a standard rotation. The Bears are essentially full. Does that fully excuse not adding another quality veteran? No. Not entirely. There was still room to bring in someone like Javon Clowney, Joey Bosa, or a comparable veteran presence, not for $30 million a year, but for a sensible, team-friendly deal that adds real depth and legitimate pass rush threat. Whether they still make a move before Week 1 remains to be seen. But the pressure is on, because without improvement in that area, this defense has a ceiling problem. Let us talk about Jalen Johnson, because somebody asked a fair question: is he washed? The short answer is no. But the nuanced answer matters more. The 2023 version of Jalen Johnson, lockdown, All-Pro, one of the best corners in football, that version is probably not walking back through the door. 3 seasons have passed since that peak. In 2024, he was still a solid contributor, still a legitimate CB1, still someone you feel good about lining up on the other side of the field. Last year, injuries complicated everything, and when he was playing through pain, the performance reflected that. What is realistic? A B-plus version. A good corner, not a great corner, but a plus on your defense. Someone opposing coordinators still have to account for in their game planning. If that is what shows up in 2025, you take it without hesitation. There is also a quiet conversation building about this Bears defense generating turnovers at an elite rate year after year. The defensive back end, the scheme, the takeaway machine, it has been relentless. And the credit for that keeps pointing in one direction. Val Harris has now spent the better part of 5 seasons producing turnover numbers that rank at or near the top of the entire NFL. 4 years in Dallas, first year in Chicago, the teams he has been attached to consistently lead the league in interceptions and rank in the top 3 in overall turnovers. That kind of sustained excellence over that many seasons is not a coincidence. That is a coach who knows exactly how to build a culture and a system around ball disruption. It is honestly stunning that he has not already been handed a defensive coordinator role somewhere. If this defense continues to be aggressive and opportunistic in 2025, that conversation will become impossible to ignore. On the defensive line depth specifically, 5 names have been floated as potential additions before Week 1. Alfred Okoye has already received a visit, which arguably makes him the frontrunner right now. Cam Jordan sits in the conversation given the connection with the new defensive coordinator. Von Miller's name has come up slightly more than a couple of the others. Beyond those 3, it becomes pure speculation. The reality is that any of these names could be signed or could be elsewhere by the time this reaches you. Now let us end on the toughest test this offense and defense will face in 2025. Which defenses scare you the most on this schedule? Seattle. Getting a full extra week of preparation levels the playing field, but the Seahawks defense is legitimately difficult. Philadelphia at home. Vic Fangio has been neutralized before, but he is going to come into that game with adjustments. New England at home. Mike Vrabel's defenses never give you easy days. The Vikings, facing them twice, with Brian Flores calling plays, he is always a headache. And do not overlook Carolina in Week 1. If Jalen Phillips hits immediately, that front is going to be more dangerous than people expect going into Week 1. So think about it this way. The Bears have the offensive firepower. They have the playmakers. They have the coaching staff that has proven it can find solutions. But the defense needs to hold up its end of the bargain. And at the end of the day, that is the question the entire 2025 season is going to answer. Is this Bears team built to compete deep into January? Or are the gaps still too wide? Bear down.